Hey, hello everyone. Welcome. This is gonna be a bit of a quieter stream because I'm a bit tired, but also like not wanting to go to bed yet. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit quieter. I am eating an apple right now, so sorry if you hear the sound there. But yeah, I'm just gonna be a nice, quiet stream. Anyway, I'm just going to. I probably should not be doing that. I'll just start getting into the games, I guess, and I'll leave a Discord open in case anyone asks me anything. So first will be Aubrey versus Tribal. Tribal is a draft player I've seen around. I don't know that much about them. I think it's a her, but I don't want to assume pronouns. I'm going to say them. Looking at the matchup here, first thing I noticed is Suicune looks very strong on Aubrey's side. Only one that takes it on very well is Celebi. And Celebi is pretty pressured by this Rotom. However, the Celebi itself does look pretty good overall. We do see, like, not Celebi, the Rotom looks pretty good. Not a ton can hit it very hard. Could definitely see, like, a physically defensive Pain Split Rotom being very, very strong. I mean, Pain Split will, like, T-Bolt. But I don't even need. Well, you probably if you're a Will, you don't necessarily need to. Maybe like Pain Split, Willow, Shadow Ball, Leaf Storm or something could be interesting. Or just run like stabs. You don't necessarily need Leaf Storm per se. This Infernape on Tribal side is quite strong. Like a Nasty Pot say or a mix like Nasty Pot could be very good. Doesn't need to set up really like a life roll by close combat, Fire Blast, Grass Knot, HP Ice, or a thing on Mach Punch on the life orb set to hit the Dugtrio really hard. But Celebi was really strong. I think both Celebi and Fairport are very good here. There is not a ton of kind of play, but Celebi is a decent one. So I think I'm going to give the matchup advantage here to Tribal. So let's get into the game. Which is Swampert and Roseray. The Swampert's going to be forced out immediately. We're just going to Sleep Power, but he's going to dodge. Register's going to dodge. Good. Dodge Sleep Power again and get up rocks. Sleep Power finally hits the Registeel, so Roseray can start getting some spikes here. Or Toxic Spikes in this case. Actually, it has to be Toxic Spikes, right? Sleep Power and Spikes are incompatible. Muslim's going to do a ton of damage to Hitmonlee. And knock off moving to focus, that doesn't really matter since it just breaks it anyway. Roman Muck, and oh no, that's a Will must miss. That's unfortunate as Toxic hits the Rotom. Blissey is going to come in. Suicune and Muck, lots of switching here. Suicune is going to sub, calling the Muck Toxic, very good play. And let's just start Calm Minding. And Muck's Poison Jab is going to break this up. This Suicune's in a prime position now. Quick and Calm Mind. Wow, more people joining now than like in the middle of the day. Fair enough. I guess you're all like night owls like me. Ice Beam's not going to do much to Gyarados. Gyarados is going to taunt, but Ice Beam, a second one, will play in range. And, ooh, the freeze. That's really rough. In comes Muck, because Suicune's going to shake off the taunt and they can get a sub again. Oh, no, never mind. I was losing my turn count. Toxic on the Blissey. Get up some rocks as Poison Jabs to come off, do good damage into the Blissey. Muck get a Poison Jab, do a ton of Dugtrio. Stoutstick gets Dougie well, but it will remove the Muck of Earthquake, even for a Shucker Berry. Dugtrio's gonna stay and take not do a ton to Swampert with a Band Earthquake and go down to Ice Beam. Yep, and in comes the Roserade. Roserade's gonna get those Toxic Spikes back up. Earthquake is going to knock out the Blissey from the Registeel there. We can enjoy the sub again. Registeel crit Earthquake will break it. And as soon as you'll start setting up again. Earthquake breaking that sub. Where's just gonna spam Earthquake? But it's right 1 PP. You only can click it 4 more times on this weekend. So you're just gonna continue subbing. Yeah, Registeel, and it's gonna boom, popping the sub and leaving Suicune very, very low. Hitmonlee comes in, force counts Suicune and quick and close combat. Okay, this is gonna be Sactirox S Clash where it's a free Swords Dance. Oh god. I'm very interested to come in. Glass was definitely not. Glass was about these, so it's going down to HP Ice. HP will do a ton to this. Doing nothing as Suicune, but Inferno can just knock out the following turn, unless it reveals to be Choice, which it definitely is by the fact that they stay in. For it blocks into Fire Blast, which is what Suicune right back in. Or Rotom. Oh, last Suicune's really well. Yeah. I am not thinking straight tonight. I am very tired. Anyway. Shabon knocks out a Swampert. I don't know if that crit mattered, but it comes in for an 8. Knocking the Fire Blast, but Rowan can knock it back out. And that is a win for Tribal. I'm not Tribal, for Aubrey. I'll be right back. I'm going to throw out this apple. Okay, and since we have actual viewers, I will put on my headphones and talk a little bit louder. I did not expect anyone to show up this late at night, so fair enough. Give me 1 second. I see what I was talking about. It's okay. Yeah, well. Oh, crap. What just happened? I see. Okay. That's better. So a big win for Aubrey over Tribal. I believe that was both their first games, so up to 1-0 for Aubrey. Okay, let's move on to game number 2 of the night. And on to our next one. We have here. Why I'm out of it, but that's okay. Game 2, so we see Ava, who may or may not be in chat. I know she was in Discord just now, versus Josen. So I believe this is both their first games, so I believe they're both 0-0 going into this, where this will obviously be in a great position. I'm actually going to ping Ava, let her know she's not in chat, that I'm watching her game. Because might as well. Anyway, so we do see a Zapdos Suicune mirror here. Pretty interesting, I will say. Ava's Zapdos, I think, looks a little bit better than Josen's, just because the Claydol's a really good Zapdos check. But on the opposite end, Josen's Suicune looks a lot better because there's no Celebi. We feel it's a much frailer Suicune check. It can deal with it, but not as easily. Albeit Leaf Blade does do good damage to it. The spikes from Frostlass could stab, but honestly, Claydol hits Frostlass pretty hard with Earthquake or a Rock move, making it hard for it to keep up those spikes. And no Spin Blocker on Ava's side means any rocks that go up can easily be spun by the Donphan, especially since, well, I guess if Claydol's the rocker, it might not be as easy, but Donphan can't toxic the Claydol and wear it down pretty quickly. That Blaziken on Ava's side looks quite frightening here. I think a Scarf Set makes a lot of sense with Flare Blitz and High Jump Gauge does good damage. You just have to watch out about Protect on Suicune, which is obviously very common, as we've seen all tournament. The Azelf on Ava's side is also very good. The only psychic resists are Celebi, I guess technically Sneasel, but really just Celebi. So Psychic plus Flame Fury is perfect coverage here. Can fit like Nasty Plot sub if it really wants. I can even see like some sort of fear. I guess you don't need to do it, but yeah. I can see offensive Azelf being very strong here. Let's go into the game. I think Ava has a slight matchup advantage. Ava on the left and Josen on the right. Azelf just gonna U-turn out on this Frostlass lead. Frost is just a shallow ball here, predicting a taunt from the Azelf, so he's not gonna try and spike. Switch out to Suicune. Hand power from the Registeel, presumably HP Fire does nothing to this Suicune. Suicune's gonna surf and Registeel's gonna click Rock Polish. What is going on? Registeel is gonna Thunderbolt. That's only gonna do 36 though, but he is gonna get the paralysis on that Suicune. That's nice, but now it's Calm Mind. You're gonna do like no damage or T-Bolt, yeah. 25 and Suicune can continue setting up here. If the Suicune has rest, you're in a really bad position. Thunderbolt doing only 19. Suicune is going to get fully paralyzed though. And now Registeel's going to switch out into Leafeon, and Suicune is going to go for the rest, but this does give a free switch into Leafeon. Very good opening for Ava. In comes the Zapdos. We go Leaf Blade, do a Queen 30. That might be, yeah, it's a White Robe Leafeon. I was going to say, it's definitely offensive, is doing that much. Switch out to Registeel on the U-turn. And Miltank is going to come out on the Registeel. Miltank is just going to paralyze his Registeel with T-Wave as Registeel gets the rocks up. Very strong into Frostlass and Zapdos, especially since Zapdos is already down 76%. Miltank is going to Body Slam, doing good damage to this Quaidol. Then we see here, Quaidol's going to Psychic do a ton to this Frostlass. As I said, it's kind of hard for it to block. Frostlass is going to trick a Choice Specs on the Quaidol. Quaidol perks presumably, I assume, HP Fire. Pursuit on the Quaidol, but Quaidol's just going to click HP Fire, and with it being Specs, it's going to do a ton of damage to this Sneasel. I will say I'm kind of surprised he didn't knock out, but I guess Quaidol was pretty weak offensively. Thunder Punch Blaziken, the fact that it's clicking that here means it's probably Scarf. And Josen is going to sniff that out, go into the Celebi, and just fire with a Leaf Storm. Just about 30% to the Registeel. That is White Orb, wow. Earth Power, you're at -2, you're going to do jack shit, yeah. And you're just taking White Orb chip for no reason. HP Fire again. And this Celebi's getting really well. It does have Recover. It does have Recover. Probably going to want to recover one more time to get a little healthier. Yeah, and Azelf is going to come in on it hard. We see Zapdos here, and Azelf's just going to U-turn again. Back into the Blades, get to click a free attack. Just going to Flare Blitz and knock out this Zapdos. Suicune is going to come in. It is asleep, though, so he does a free switch into Leafeon. Is there rank Sleep Talk? It is not, apparently. So, a White Orb Leaf Blade is coming out here. That's going to do a ton of damage to Miltank, but it's not going to hit KO. Leafeon's got a quick heal bell though. I don't remember what was something with status. I don't remember what, but yeah. Anyway, as it gets paralyzed, I'm making heal bell again later if it wants. Leafeon's gonna continue getting paralyzed though. In comes Registeel on the Body Slam. Oh right, the Registeel's paralyzed. That's what it was. Miltank's gonna quick Earthquake, does a good chunk to this Registeel because it's so offensive. Registeel's going to Rock Polish though. It's gonna Thunderbolt. That's gonna do an okay amount to Miltank, and that's a second Thunderbolt power of this game. What is going on? Yeah, Registeel's paralyzed. I realized that like right after I said the lady. Superpowered Blaziken comes in, does a ton of damage to this Miltank, knocks it out straight up. Suicune comes in, but it still has to burn our Sleep turn. Leafeon can come in here. The Suicune does outspeed though because of the paralysis. Switching out to Celebi. As Leafeon gets fully paralyzed here, that's unfortunate. Psychic's going to knock it out. I thought maybe they were going over X's there, I'm not sure. But Azelf can just U-turn here, knocking out the Celebi, dropping in Blaziken on the Suicune. Suicune's going to wake up this turn, though. Thunder Punch is only going to do 29. What is Suicune going to click? It's just going to start Calm Minding. Blaziken's going to Thunder Punch again. Will we see another Electric Move paralysis? No, we won't. We will see a rest from the Suicune. Switching out to the Azelf. Yeah, I assume Azelf's just going to boom here. Yeah, just going to boom. Does not knock out the Suicune, but does put it in Thunder Punch range, so Blaziken can come back in and clean up the end game. Sewer Power is a little stronger. Makes sense. Might as well. Good win by Ava. Just, pretty clean 2-0 win, not like too much hacks on your side. I think she plays pretty well. The Life Orb Leaf was cool. I don't like the Registeel set, but I guess it kind of worked. I know it kind of worked because Suicune kept getting full play paralyzed, but that's sometimes how things go. And then the Specs Quaidol getting tricked actually did do a lot of damage to that Sneasel, but it wasn't enough. I did call on the team in the matchup section that Scar placement was really good, and that's what came here. Life Orb Cell makes a lot of sense. You do have trouble breaking down the Registeel otherwise, and a double power with Melting is interesting. I do think the speed control makes a lot of sense. So good one for Ava, moving her up to Waya now. Okay, on to our next game. This appears to be another one from my pool. Game 13. We have Boas versus Charlie. So Charlie is 2-0, so he's already moving on. This is Boas' first game. So Charlie's looking to get that yeah, I saw Ava gassing at the Registeel set. I didn't actually watch the game. I was just like, okay, as I said, but all it did was fully paralyze the Suicune. Like, it wouldn't have done shit if it didn't get those full powers. It would just let Suicune continue setting up. Anyway, we have Charlie versus Boas. Charlie's moving already. Boas is his first game. So we do, looking at the matchup here, Charlie's Zapdos is interesting. I mean, it's pretty important here as a potential Starmie check, but we do see the Jolteon, which checks it pretty well, and a Nidoqueen, which albeit Zapdos gets extra sensor, it's not going to do that much to Nidoqueen. This is a Starmie mirror because, of course, I pulled 2 Starmies in my pool when I have no Dark type because lovely. Anyway, both Starmies look pretty good here. I will say Charlie's Starmie looks a little more important in this long game because the D-Knight Ice with the Ice Beam, Ice Beam and to hit the Entei, but it's a little easier to revenge with the Jolteon. We do see on both sides that Dragonite is pretty good here. However, something like a Scarf Aerodactyl can easily stop it because it resists E-Speed and can just Stone Edge if Dragonite walks into Outrage on something else. And also the Registeel, which probably packs Ice Punch, is a pretty good check to it. Oh, I just noticed there's also a Starmie and Nidoqueen mirror. Interesting. Following up, this Entei on both side is very strong. The fire resists are both pretty frail. So Entei can just click Banded Flare Blitz. I think that's probably the set you all run here. Just Adamant Banded Flare Blitz. Just click the button and do a ton of damage. You're going to 2-hit KO Starmie, even if it's... I think that might even 2-hit KO physically defensive Starmie after rocks. I'm not sure, but yes, it can recover up on you, but you're forcing it into that, and that was you getting Jolteon for free. And obviously Jolteon can't like chip away at that Nidoqueen over time with Hidden Power. Unfortunately, I don't think Boas is base enough to run fake Tears Jolteon into Nidoqueen like I am, but it can still chip away at the Nidoqueen with Hidden Power or pivot with Baton Pass into Starmie anyway. I think I have to give the slight matchup advantage to Boas here just because Entei's so strong in this game and Dragon also looks really good. But it is pretty even, I'd say, so let's get into it. Boas on left, Charlie on the right. We see Bronzong and Nidoqueen lead. They are just going to trade rocks. No, the Bronzong's just a quick Psychic. But if we're going to do Furry to Bronzong, that's virtually nothing, and rocks will go up on Boas' side. Another Flamethrower from Charlie, as I assume the Bronzong's just a Psychic. Yeah. Nidoqueen goes down, opening up Boas' Jolteon a lot. The burn is going to chip down this Bronzong. Starmie is just going to Hydro Pump. And then in comes the Jolteon. Jolteon's in a very strong position with the Nidoqueen down, but obviously Registeel can come in. Only take 26 from the Thunderbolt. Nidoqueen's going to be the switch here. Makes sense. It's going to take a Seismic Toss. But it's going to get a bit of help with back with Black Sludge. Is it Sky for like a boom or something? I'm not sure. I was just calling a double. So now we see both Starmies at the field. Both Starmie is going to spin while Charlie's just going to click T-Bolt, getting a ton of damage off on it. Boas is going to switch out, but Charlie's going to call that clicking a Hydro Pump, doing 77 to this Jolteon, putting it in range of rocks. I mean, I don't know if rocks will go back up because the Nidoqueen's gone, but this Jolteon's very well. We see another Thunderbolt Power. Weighs up with the Thunderbolt Powers today. Anyway, we're just going to catch the Starmie with a Boom, and that's going to take it out. Jolteon into Aerodactyl. I wonder if it's Aerodactyl's Scarf. We do see Double Edge knock it out. And we do have noticed Boas' timer's getting a little low, too. Starmie clicking Roar, clicking Roar, forcing in the Zapdos, take some good chip here. He's going to click Hidden Power into the Nidoqueen, probably HP ground. If I had to guess, Poison Jab's going to do negligible damage, but fishing for that poison could be big. Entei is going to come in on the Zapdos as Zapdos just roosts up there. He's got a Thunderbolt doing 52, but this Flip is going to do, yeah, that's definitely banned if it does 100, as I kind of predicted on a matchup. In comes Starmie, and it can just not get an Entei with Thunderbolt. Obviously, Entei can't E-Speed is locked in. Starmie's got Ice Beam, but Dragon's got Live and Quick Dragon Dance. He is good Dragon Coin to the Starmie, but I presume this Aerodactyl is, this Aerodactyl is definitely Scarf. I feel like both might have had the E-Speed there, but I don't know if it mattered long term anyway. Double is going to do Fairy 7 Neoqueen. Neoqueen's going to Pursuit, but he doesn't have a way to hit this Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl is going to clean up the end game for Charlie with Boas forfeiting here. I mean, Charlie just kind of read Boas out the butt of the all game. I mean, with that boom, with calling the Jolteon game, that's 77% with Hydro Pump off. I mean, I don't think the prepper side was like that crazy, but I think just Charlie kind of read Boas like a book. And honestly, Charlie's been doing that this whole, like, all his games. He's been very strong on reads. And gets him a queen. I made his episode to 3-0. I believe that's final differential +7. So yeah, very, very good win by Charlie. The Scarf Aerodactyl coming in clutch for a second game in a row. So very well done. And then we have our next game here. Team, we have Lafone versus Canucks. I believe Lafone might already be 0-1, or he might be 0-0. I don't remember. I don't think we've seen a Canucks game yet. No, this is definitely Lafone's second. I think he was his 0-1 because I feel like I remember seeing the double 115 speed Psychics before. Yeah, I will say here, that's not a great position to be in. And to Tyranitar, Scizor, Cresselia, two of your top models are very similar. And then there's even Milotic. So, yes, those two can break down checks for each other, but it's kind of difficult. Lucario's looking pretty solid here, but Crest is a pretty good stopgap to it, as is physically defensive Hitmontop with Intimidate. We do see another Neoqueen Mirror, so two Neoqueen Mirrors there were very funny. On Canucks' side, we see the Tyranitar is quite strong, even physically defensive Vaporeon doesn't really want to take it on. So if you can eliminate the Lucario, this T-Tar kind of goes crazy. Scizor also, I think you just run Ban Scizor and just click Bug Bite over and over, or U-turn and just like smack things for huge damage. And the Crest on Canucks' side is also very, very difficult for Lafone to break. He doesn't have a great way to do it. And remember, Sableye doesn't have pranksters in the gen, so he can't really just taunt down the Crest. I definitely give this matchup heavily to Canucks here, but there are still ways Lafone can win. Starmie is very strong here. If you can just get Chip on the Scizor and the Cresselia, Starmie's definitely a key to victory. I think you probably need to preserve it for the late game, honestly. Let's see how this goes. We have Lafone on the right and Canucks on Lafone on the left, Canucks on the right. We see Azelf lead into Scizor. Scizor's just going to U-turn. That means it's probably Scarf. In comes the Neoqueen, takes very little damage. Forced out into Bronzong as Crest just quick Psychic, doing less damage than lefties. Yeah. Crest can give Bronzong a trick Iron Ball, opening up ground moves from I believe the Neoqueen later. Psychic doing 29 to Altara. That's actually not bad damage. Tara's going to quick Fire Blast. Blade's going to miss. And Toxic is also going to miss. So, weird turn. In comes the Scizor as Vaporeon comes in as well. Vaporeon switches to Neoqueen. Scizor's just going to U-turn, do a bit more damage to his Neoqueen as Cresselia comes in. Bronzong can come back in even with Iron Ball. Yeah, but he's going to get paralyzed by T-Wave. So now we go into Neoqueen because it can be hit by the ground moves, and Neoqueen will get left full power, means it can't get hit by anything. In comes Crest, Vaporeon's just going to Baton Pass out back into the Bronzong. And in comes the Tyranitar. What does Bronzong go quick? Bronzong is just going to get paralyzed, so we aren't going to find out anyway. Earthquake, as we did, I guess he called it being... Oh, wait, no, it's the Iron Ball. Duh, I'm stupid. Yeah, so Earthquake's going to do a ton. Crunch will probably knock it out after, I assume, based on the damage roll. But he doesn't want to take too much Toxic, so he's going to switch it to Altaria. Yeah, that Bronzong, I want to calculate this thing's speed. Assuming Bronzong is minimum speed 63, its speed stat is now 3. Let me, just for fun, let's just pull up a calc. Just because it's very funny. Because I need to know, this is hilarious. All right, DPP, Bronzong, Iron Ball, but I believe actually has been more than Monster Base, and we're gonna paralyze it. This Bronzong has a speed stat of 7. This Bronzong has a speed stat of 7. At level 100, its speed stat is 7. That is amazing. This might be the best thing ever. This Bronzong speed stat is now literally 7. That's fantastic. That's like slower than most LC Pokemon at level 5. Okay, now that we've gotten past the 7 speed Bronzong, let's go back to the game. Vaporeon, good baton pass out as Hitmontop comes in, gets into Starmie. Sucker Punch is going to do 74, putting Starmie in range of just 2 sand hits. Starmie's going to spin, but now it's, is dying good night sand. That Life Orb Sucker Punch into Life Orb Mach Punch, taking out one of the biggest threats to crap, I'm forgetting the name, I feel bad. The biggest threats to Canucks' team. Life Orb quick to knock out the Nidoqueen. That crit might have mattered, it probably mattered, honestly, but so this Hitmontop to continue doing work. It's going to Life Orb close combat into Vaporeon and do 48. Vaporeon is going to surf here, but Vaporeon's getting very low now. In comes Altaria. I presume she's going to quick Draco. Yeah, and that's going to knock out the Vaporeon. Azelf is going to come in here, take advantage of it. I assume it's going to try a Nasty Part or something, or just quick Zen Headbutt into Scizor. That's going to do virtually nothing. And since we know Scizor is scarfed, Azelf cannot stay in here. In comes the slowest Bronzong of all time, and the 7-speed Bronzong is going to live on 1%. Obviously, just going to go a Dragon Pulse here from the Altaria, though. Altaria's going to take some Sand Chip. In comes Azelf. Azelf's going to U-turn out, predicting a switch, but Altaria's going to stay in. Dragon Pulse doing a ton of damage to Lucario, even through the resist. And reveals to be Scarf Altaria, means Lucario's super low now. He's going to crunch calling the crest, but might be too late. The Scizor or the Nidoqueen can come in even. Nidoqueen's got Earth Power. It is going to let in the Azelf, but what can Azelf even do at this point? Azelf's going to Fire Punch calling the Scizor, but T-Tar's going to come in instead. Azelf's going to U-turn, but is T-Tar going to Pursuit? Yes, it is. This is going to knock out Azelf if it's not Cold Berry. It is Cold Berry, so it will live on a tiny bit. Lucario's going to come in. Let's go a quick Ice Punch calling the Nidoqueen. That will knock out this Rayatar, but doesn't Scizor just win here? Or as Crest, that works too. Crunch will bounce off this Crest. It's just knock out Psychic. And Azelf dies in 2 sand turns with the free Pokemon left. It is physically impossible for Laflin to win this game anymore. It's just going to U-turn, and Canucks is going to knock out the Azelf with Shallow Ball. I mean, the Earthquake crit on the Nidoqueen was big, but I mean, the match was heavily in Canucks' favor. He just played it really well. The Trick Iron Bolt into T-Wave, very funny, but also quite smart to make this Bronze acceptable. Scarf Altaria, I really like that here. The speed is pretty nice, and it also takes an E-Speed from Lucario decently well, assuming he had some bulk investment and can revenge it with Fire Blast. We do see the Pursuit T-Tar makes sense into Azelf. And the Life Orb 4 attacks Intimidate Hitmontop's really smart. Also, the Intimidate, not only does it weaken the physical attackers, it also isn't Technician, so it doesn't make them think, oh, it's going to be offensive with Mach Punch. The Azelf makes sense. Physical makes a lot of sense here, albeit the one thing is you don't hit T-Tar that hard, so unless you're packing, like, it doesn't have Drain Punch in this gen, so it's really rough. Yeah, so a pretty dominant win from Canucks. Very funny game with the literally 7 speed stat Bronzong, not base speed, literally 7 speed. That is very funny. But yeah, good win by Canucks. I believe that does put Lafon down to 0-2, knocking him out of the tournament, unfortunately. Move on to game number 15. So we do have here Validity versus Raven IKSR. And Validity, if you're still in chat, we do have your game now. With this really whack, almost Trick Room-esque team you took over. I feel so bad for you. You got stuck with this shit, but, we'll see if you can make it work. Yeah, this is literally as a really shitty Trick Room team because the abusers are like Hariyama and Rampardos. But looking at the matchup, funny enough, this Hariyama actually looks very strong, though. Like, even outside, like, close combat, Ice Punch. I mean, Gengar does not like taking Guts Ice Punch. Close combat, Ice Punch this team very, very hard. And it can be pretty fat, too. You don't even necessarily need Guts. You can just run close combat, Ice Punch, and, like, thick fat, so you take better me if the Rapidash comes. Which I could see Rapidash coming here since your only real fire resist is Gyarados. On that note, the Gyarados is looking decent here. Not much can deal with it outside the Blastoise. Blastoise is going to get worn down since it's also the primary answer to Mamoswine. Honestly, Blastoise is the primary answer to a lot of things. This Blastoise is going to get worn down very quickly, and there's no Healing Wish or Wish support to keep it healthy. I will say on Raveneye's side, though, this Gengar is monstrous. There's no Ghost Resist outside of Porygon Z, which does not count. So it can just like kind of spam Spec Shallow Ball. Or even, I can even see not running Spec, just running like Cassiberry to cover for the Dusknoir Shallow Sneak and 2-hit KO it. I think Rizzo's pretty good. Obviously, Vladi and Harry a team without any hazard removal. So even though 3 of the Pokemon are off the ground, Spikes could be very strong here, chipping down Mamoswine, Hariyama, Porygon Z, and Dusknoir. So even though I think I know Vladi's only real saving grace here is the Hariyama and maybe the Gyarados. I guess Hariyama and Gyarados Mamoswine are pretty good here, but I know Raveneye's team is very strong with the Gengar. The lack of removal is really punishing. It's actually kind of even matched despite Vladi's team. I mean, I'm guessing it's knowing that you did not draft it, sucking. Like, this is no fault of your own. This is just a really bad draft you just kind of got saddled with. But, if you can make your way to redraft, you can, you make up for that. And the name Worst DDT draft may be actually applying this time. And we see a PZ weed into Blastoise. It's a Scarf Blastoise with Surf. Oh my god. As Porygon Z does Quick Trick Room and Hyper Beam. That's not going to count the Blastoise because we really well to gain up. And in comes the Rampardos. Questioner coming in as Rampardos clicks Earthquake. In comes the Registeel as Rampardos clicks freaking Ice Beam. It doesn't even have Sheer Force yet. It's Life Orb, that's why I took Chip there. Life Orb, Earthquake, but the Registeel's going to have a Shuckle Berry. And that way the encounter, but that's not going to KO. Earthquake is a roll here, but of lady, she's going to switch out. Rocks, and the Registeel's going to boom on the Bronzong. Bronzong's going to get up her rocks, and this means Blastoise will go down all next time it comes in. Sleep Powder on the Bronzong, but it's Lumberry. Very good play, and getting up the Trick Room again. Pretty obvious boom there, but I don't know what Raveneye could have really done about it. Rampardos is going to come back in, he's going to take rocks, but he can't fire off one gigantic attack here. It's going to Focus Punch, and oh my god, what the fuck. So Vladi is going to call the fucking T-Tar switch and click a Life Orb Focus Punch to knock it out. What the hell? My god, Vladi, you are just on our level. What the fuck did I just watch? Life Orb Focus Punch Rampardos, Okoing Tyranitar on the switch in Trick Room. Oh my god. Ice Beam's going to knock out the Gliscor. In comes Gengar, but yeah, you have to go Blastoise sack it to get rid of the Trick Room. Gengar is going to have to come back in though, but it's pretty low. I mean, that's pretty low, but Crest can probably take a Shallow Ball. Yeah. Crest can take a Shallow Ball, and then it's going to be Salic Berry Crest. What the hell? Psychic's going to knock out Gengar anyway. To be fair, your opponent did switch him, but Focus Punch calling the T-Tar. That's one of the most insane reads I've seen all tournament. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, taking this really shitty Trick Room team and making the best of it. I mean, you got Rampardos did a lot of work. You got Boom. You got Hyper Beam. And what else do you need, right? Very good win by Vladi, making the best of a really shitty situation. So that's a first game for her on to... Oh, one second. Let me check one thing real quick. Because I feel bad. Maybe 1 second here. It doesn't say. I wanted to check to make sure I wasn't screwing up pronouns. If I'm last two are Dusk and Mail. Oh, you left the Hariyama at home. Wow, that's kind of wild to me. I feel like Hariyama a really good matchup, but fair enough. Yeah, if I'm wrong by calling you a she, my apologies. I just want to check your pronouns, but I couldn't see them on your profile. Just wanted to make sure. Anyway, let's move on to our next game. On to game 16. So here we have Taiwan versus K-Crick. K-Crick's obviously, as we mentioned before, a top DPP, not a top draft player. I believe he might already be 2-0. Is he your second or third game? I don't remember. But he's doing very well so far in the tournament. And Taiwan, I believe, might be 1-0. I can't. I think we've seen a Taiwan game. I don't remember if we won or lost though. A pronouns are fine. Cool. Okay, just wanted to make sure. But looking at the matchup here, K-Crick keeps pulling fantastic Inferior plus Shaman matchups, which to be fair, Inferior plus Shaman is a very strong combination. Infernape forces in Milo. You U-turn to Shaman. Shaman clicks Seed Flare. Blah, da, da, da. Obviously, that's how it goes. Snorlax looking pretty strong here. You might need like a Swords Dance, Superpower, Scizor, but you have to watch out for like Fire Punch from the Snorlax. And if it's Chocolate, it was the superpower anyway, even probably a banded one. On Tylenol's side, though, this what is it? This Scizor looks decently strong. Outside the Registeel, if you're like, you're probably gonna run Quick Attack 40 Infernape if you're a bandit, especially do good damage set. And I can actually see a more offensive Mesprit from Tylenol putting in a lot of work here. Like a Calm Mind Mesprit actually looks very strong in this matchup if you can just remove the Registeel, which seems doable. Not the easiest thing in the world, but you can wear it down over time. If it's not running Rest, it's pretty easy to ship it. I don't know. I think I give the matchup here to Cakerik, though. Infernape plus Shaman is just such a strong combination to Tylenol's team. We see Cakerik with his brand new custom avatar using his Cakerik account instead of Shadow Blast. Very exciting. I'm happy for him. I mean, he's a top player. It's good to see him finally getting that custom, which he's been after since Smogon and Draft merged for a while ago. Chople Berry T-Tar is going to take the superpower. And Snorlax is going to be forced out probably because that -1 defense. Yeah, and in comes the Registeel. Calling the Registeel switch to going Hitmontop. Very good. I mean, I say Hitmontop's all just good into Snorlax in general. Qwilfish is going to come in on take 39 for a close combat. That's a pretty offensive Hitmontop probably. Qwilfish is going to get the poison with the poison point though, so that's very nice for Cakerik getting extra chip on this. Hitmontop, Qwilfish could give a spike as Hitmontop is just going to knock it out. Shaman's going to come in, clicking Seed Flare. This is going to force out the Hitmontop. You'll get a drop. Is the Shaman running Air Slash? It probably should be. Oh, it's running like a Hidden Power. Probably HP Fire for Scizor. That's going to do a ton of damage. And this Tropius is going to seal its own fate with the Substitute. Oh my god. Bug Bite from Scizor doing 12 into the Registeel. I assume it's just get Rocks up, or it's going to Hidden Power, HP Fire, do some chip into the Hitmontop. Registeel comes out into Shaman. Shaman is going to take this close combat. It's not going to take it very well, but Shaman, I assume, if he's bringing in here, probably is Rest, maybe. Sorry, my computer's lagging a bit. In comes the Scizor. Is Shaman going to quick Rest? No, it's just going to Psychic. Alright, well, to be fair, Validity, Tropius actually, in the opening match of the tournament, I don't know if you saw because you were not out replaced yet, we saw a Tropius 1v1 a Kingdra by running Yachi Berry Sunny Day, installing it out of Rain Dances by calling the turns right. It was insane. The opening match of the tournament, we had Tropius do so much work. It was wild. However, yeah, Tropius doesn't make much sense in this matchup, I will agree. So it's just going to Roost. Registeel does friend HP Fire, but it's going to get up its Rocks here. Milo is going to come in. Quick Whirlpool. Oh, interesting. So, but it's going to get Toxics for its trouble. Is this Milo running a Refresh? The thing is, the Whirlpool only negates leftovers in this generation. It only does 6%. He is packing the Refresh. But Registeel's going to call it and keep clicking Toxic. With the Sand and the Toxic, he is going to be going out doing the leftovers, and this Whirlpool's going to be doing virtually nothing. Milong's going to quick Surf into Registeel. Registeel's going to Iron Head for a tiny bit of chip. The Whirlpool, I guess, is doing a little bit, but it's not making a huge amount of progress. And calling the Refresh again is just going to click Toxic. Eventually, his Registeel is going to be free and can switch out. Not yet, though. This Whirlpool's been lasting a long time. Wow. Iron Head again. That's a quick. Yeah, thank God. Yeah, boy. I seen like 3 or 4 Flamor Melodics, and I'm going to scream. I was helping one of my friends prep for his upcoming match, and he was like, "Oh, watch out for Flamor Melodic. If he does, they might be able to try." I'm like, "If it's Flamor Melodic, you already won. Like, if it's Flamor Melodic, you already won. It's gonna be taking 18% per turn. It's on a Sand team. Like, Flamor Melodic is already really bad." Because it takes 12% per turn, but I think every single Milotic I've seen with Flame Orb has been either on a Sand team or against a Sand team. Which is like, now you're taking 18%. It's like, you're only healing 30% when you click Recover. That's like not worth it at all. It's so bad. Anyway, Gengar's got a quick substitute here. Shaman's not gonna let that happen. Just a quick psychic. Gengar's gonna fire up a Sludge Bomb, just knocking out the Shaman. What's good coming on K-Crick's side? We do see the Aerodactyl presumably planning to Pursuit Trap this Gengar. Is gonna Pursuit, is not gonna knock out. Is Gengar gonna quick? Will-Wisp. Is the Aerodactyl one berry? No, it is not. So this Aerodactyl is pretty neutered. However, it can't guarantee the knockout on Gengar at least. What is going to come and take advantage of the Aerodactyl? It's Scizor. It probably a Swords Dance if it's coming in here. No, it's just going to Bullet Punch. This brings the Infernape. Infernape's looking very good here. He is going to get intimidated by the Hitmontop, but Infernape can just Fire Blast doing it, knocking it out clean. So that's forced into Milotic. But you got the Snorlax, yeah. Wax Surfing's going to do virtually nothing here. Can Snorlax take advantage of his Milo boy starting to revesh? Milo's going to quick recover. Snorlax is just going to self-destruct though, and he's going to go down to the Toxic here. Or I guess down to the Sand, doesn't really matter. Infernape comes in, and it's at 68. Sure, even if it's like quick attack Scizor, it should live here. Scizor's a good Bullet Punch, yeah. Even quick attack would not have knocked out the Akaberry, but Scizor's too low already. So a 2-0 win for K-Crick. Very well played. Not letting Tylenol like get anything going with those substitutes. Not really giving him a chance to gain the game. Dinosaur early hazards very good. The Snorlax putting huge pressure on turn 1. Not doing superpower instead. T-Tar getting it super low, super fast. The rocks were open. Then like this Tropius, I don't know what it was doing here. Is it meant to be a Shaman check? But like if it can pack Air Slash or HP Fire, and then if you go to -2, like you kind of just die. I feel like Mesprit would have been. Did Mesprit? Yeah. I feel like Mesprit would have been better. Might have helped with the Infernape in the end game. But fair enough. It is a Tropius, and also this really bad Milotic set. If Whirlpool did like 12%, maybe I could see a reason to bring that. But it only does 6. It just cancels lefties. It's really really bad in the series. You don't even Binding Band to boost this damage. Like, it's just not a good move, unfortunately. Outside, specifically on Perish Song with, like, Azu, it's just not good. See a pretty effective win from K-Crick. This, at least pushes in brackets. I don't know if it's his second or third game, but he definitely is in brackets now. Head on to game number 17. So now we have here Ball Diddleman versus Meister. Okay, that's a username. So moving past the username, let's get straight into the matchup. We see another Infernape Shaman core, very strong. But one of the better counters to it, Dragonite, is here. Dragonite does have to fear an HPIs from either of them. However, it's still like quite strong in this matchup, especially once the Bronzong gets weakened. And Bronzong will get weakened trying to take on stuff like Celebi. The Machamp looks a bit scary, but Nidoqueen is a decent switch into it, albeit Earthquake is going to hurt. This Raikou is actually a bit of a tough pickle here with both Nidoqueen and Shaman. Even the threat of like faster boom from Electro makes Raikou's life a little difficult. Meister's Infernape looks very strong here. Only real check is Blastoise, I guess D-Knight, but if you catch D-Knight with an HP Ice, it's going to take a ton of damage here. This is a pretty even matchup, I'd say, though. Like, both sides have pretty much checks to everything the opponent can do. I don't see a one Pokemon that can really run away with this game. But also, should mention it's a Blastoise Mirror. Yeah, I mean, it's a support piece. It doesn't really matter, but it's a Blastoise Mirror. Let's get into the game. We have Diddleman on the left and Meister on the right. Taunt Ambipom on turn 1, so Nidoqueen cannot quick rocks. Ambipom's just going to U-turn out into Blastoise. As Nidoqueen's going to Sludge Bomb. Get off a tiny bit of damage, no poison. Blastoise is going to force down Nidoqueen. In comes Shaman, takes very little from the Surf, heals most of it off of lefties. Meister goes out to his own Blastoise, and he does scout for the Rindo Mirror Coat. Very good. So that makes it very obvious his thing is Rindo Mirror Coat. He's going to go into Shaman on the Toxic since he can natural cure it off. He's just going to switch out again into Bronzong this time. Blastoise going Mirror Coat again. Clicking Surf doing some decent damage to Bronzong. Gyro does 21. Is this another Macho-based Bronzong? I know we've seen one of those already in this tournament. Machamp is going to reveal the guts. Sheamus just going to see flare, but it's going to miss. Oh, God. And close combat's probably get Oko, or at least get very close. It's now in bullet punch range, though. You have to switch out Shaman. Oh, I guess you can protect, but you're still going to be in bullet punch range no matter what. You have to switch here, yeah. In comes Nidoqueen as he doubles his LB. That's an incredibly unfortunate C4 miss, though. Any damage on Machamp would have been huge. Psyching into Nidoqueen, getting off over half. It's just going to be a clean 2-hit KO as Nidoqueen gets up rocks. And Bronzong is going to come out on the Psychic, taking virtually nothing. HP, probably fire from Celebi, but Gyarados going to do 60. This is a really strong Bronzong. Oh my god. Celebi is going to quick HP fire again as Meister takes the opportunity to get in his Infernape. Infernape is going to U-turn, and that's... Why did that do so little to Ambipom? That makes me think it might be a special Infernape with like minus attack, because that did so little. Return doing 48 into Nidoqueen. Sludge Bomb's going to do 37. Is this a fat Ambipom? Why are these attacks bouncing off? It's an Ambipom. Ambipom is going to take out Nidoqueen with the return, and Electrode's going to pick it off with T-Bolt. Machamp comes back in. This makes a huge threat. You go out to Bronzong. Let's go down close combat, yeah. Having guy off, this Machamp might even be dead if it's C4 guy off earlier, but that's just how the game goes sometimes. In comes Infernape. Flamethrower is going to knock out the Machamp at -1 spit if that makes sense. In comes the Blastoise. Yeah, this is definitely like, I mean, that makes sense why you turned it so little on the Ambipom Orb is the special attacking. Spin is going to clear the hazards from Ball Diddle inside. C4 is going to hit the Blastoise. It's definitely going to knock out through that Rindo Berry at 36, yeah. Raikou is going to come in and start Calm Minded. Does Shaymin have an answer to this? It's just going to cook Earth Power. That's not going to do too much. Shaymin's going to protect, but Raikou can just Calm Mind again, or he can Hidden Power, I guess, but... Raikou is going to Hidden Power, and that's going to hit the Electro for good edge. The Electro can just boom here, so... Ball Diddleman is going to scout it, go into Celebi. Electrode's attack size is so low, it's even killed the Celebi from 53. That's kind of embarrassing, honestly, for Electrode. Flamethrower on the Celebi, but... We'll see. Dragonite can come in and it can set up here. But it's going to take it. Yachi has HPS to go to Dragon Dance, so we know the Infernape is not scarfed. It's just going to lock into Outrage, doing 71 to this Blastoise. Blastoise is going to go down to another one. Blastoise is going to protect, hoping for a 2-turn Outrage to see if he can get it. No, it's a free turn, meaning Meister does have to sack the Blastoise here. Dragon is going to get confused, which is a 50% chance this gen. But it's not going to hit itself. Outrage is going to knock out the Infernape, and it's probably the end of the game. It's not going to hit itself again, and Shaymin's going down. Yeah, Dragonite, I mean, we knew Dragon was very strong here. If Bronzong went down, Bronzong did go down, so yeah. Played well by Diddleman. But that C4 miss allowing Machamp to essentially claim 2 was really unfortunate. I mean, that put Meister so far in the back so early. That was really unfortunate to see. Cool fat Ambipom set with Taunt U-turn. That was neat. And then we saw the Rindo Miracle Blastoise make sense. It did force out the Shaymin a couple times, so I guess that's successful. But Champ, dodged that C4 was good, but it was a guts. It was very good here. Just quick minds. Nothing else too crazy. We see a lot of Protect. Makes sense. Electro's Explosion doing less than half the Celebi is really sad. But that is the Electro after all. That's probably a physically defensive Celebi if that did that little. Is there a reason for it to be physically defensive? Maybe not. Maybe it was just like a max HP Celebi. I don't know. Electro's really weak on the physical attacking side. But yeah, good win by Ball Diddleman, and we're going to stop saying that name now. Until his next game, I guess. So we move on to game number 18. We have Brooks Y versus Axelrad. So both of these players are 1-0 at this point. I know that for sure. So the winner of this game will guarantee a slime brackets. The loser will have to fight for their life in their third pool game. So going straight into the matchup. Oh my god, Infernape. Holy hell, Infernape. I mean, these are those matchups that makes Infernape look like the best freaking Pokemon ever. I mean, nothing switches in. It can just run Scarf. It can just click Flare Blitz. It can just click U-turn in close combat and just pick up kill after kill after kill. It can run Band too if you aren't scared of Alakazam. And to be fair, I guess Alakazam's pretty stronger, but like between Celebi and Snorlax, Alakazam is a bit tickled. It's a bit difficult, but Calm Mind Alakazam does look frightening. On Brooks' side, there's obviously the Kingdra, but I'd argue the Kabutops is a bigger threat than Kingdra in this game, actually. Kingdra can be slowed down by stuff like Snorlax and Blastoise, but Kabutops can get up a Swords Dance potentially on something like a Snorlax that can't OHKO it and do a ton of damage with Waterfall. We can Stone Edge through these. He can X-Scissor into the Celebi. Kabutops, even with the Fragment Timid, Kabutops is huge here. And if Infernim's not packing a fighting priority move, specifically Evacuate, because Kabutops kind of shakes off Mach Punch, it's going to be really dangerous. This Gyarados is pretty strong here. The only water resist is the Kingdra, so if you can chip the Zapdos, that'll be very good. Jolteon into ground type Nidoqueen is a bit rough, but Jolteon's going to be a must bring for Zapdos anyway. And Snorlax is also looking pretty good here. I mean, not a ton wants to come in on it, and if it does run around Curse, there's not a ton of counterplay outside, maybe Encore Alakazam. I do think I have to give the matchup to Axorade. Just Infernim's just so insanely strong. Even with Brooks having some good pieces on his own side, Infernim's just so insane in this matchup. Let's see what happens though. Brooks is just gonna fake out on Snorlax, get some chip, quick U-turn, get a crit. So Snorlax is already now 50%. So Snorlax is gonna return, getting off a ton of damage to Kabutops. That's probably banded. Snorlax is just gonna knock out the Snorlax with the freaking life form now. And Infernape is gonna frame out with Mach Punch, yeah, because obviously otherwise they can Aqua Jet and knock out the Infernape. Infernape's gonna quick Swords Dance as the Zapdos Thunderbolts. It's gonna do a ton of damage, but he is going to live. Flare Blitz, but that's probably just gonna be a trade, yeah. Infernape's gonna go down to recoil here. Gyarados comes in. What comes in on Brooks' side? It's the Persian. Persian's gonna fake out, do a tiny bit of chip to this Gyarados. Taunt preventing the Gyara from Dragon Dancing. Very good play. And Persian is going to kick Rain Dance into Waterfall. Is going to knock out with the Rain Boost. What's coming in? The Kabutops. Kabutops is going to Stone Edge and knock out the Gyarados. That's why I said the Kabutops looks terrifying in this matchup. What does Axorade have in the back? He does have Blastoise, which will probably take it, but the Stone Edge is going to miss anyway, and Cybertron is going to take out the Kabutops. Very unfortunate miss there. Weefeon's go. Leaf Blade do 58 to Blastoise. Blastoise get Toxic to Weefeon. Axis go out to Celebi as Weefeon cooks Leaf Blade, does a tiny bit of chip. Is the Weefeon packing the X-Scissor for Celebi? It probably is. Celebi's going to Calm Mind. I assume Weefeon's just going to quick it here. Get X-Scissor into the Celebi doing 56. That's a very fat Celebi though. Does Celebi knock it out? It's just going to recover. Spamming recover to get the Toxic chip, but X-Scissor's going to do 65 that time. This is not a reliable strategy with that recover. So in comes Alakazam as Celebi's going to recover again. Interesting. Celebi is going to just quick. So he's going to take a Signal Beam, but with the Life Orb Alakazam at +1 spam fits to one. But the Psychic crit, oh my god, that's going to get Alakazam so low. Soon as you take out Celebi, Alakazam's down to just 3%. In comes Jolteon. Jolteon's going to knock out the Alakazam with that Thunderbolt. Kingdra's going to come into Blastoise. What's Kingdra going to quick? Draco Meteor knocking out the Blastoise. It is Life Orb. We see a lot. Oh my god, how many? Is that 3 freaking Life Orbs from Brooks? Yeah, Signal Beam did a trick too. Yep, 3 freaking Life Orbs from Brooks. And this Jolteon's running Thunder. Oh my god, that's Specs Thunder. Because I don't think Specs Thunderbolt would have knocked out Kingdra for 90. I highly doubt it. But he does land 2 Thunders to win the game. I'm not gonna lie, I actually got pretty lucky there with the crits. With the crits and the Stone Edge miss, but that is, how Pokemon goes sometimes. Very good prep from Brooks. Very respecting Celebi a lot. Correctly identifying how good Kabutops was in this matchup. But yeah, sometimes that's just how the game goes, and with those crits and the misses, only so much you can do. Yeah, so Axel is going to take the 1-0 win, moving him onto brackets, and Brooks will have to fight for his life in his last game. Next matchup, we'll go into our penultimate game of the stream. Here we have Zinc versus Cygnus. Zinc is 1-0 already, I know that. I believe this is Cygnus' first game. So Zinc is looking to lock his place into brackets now. Sorry, my asthma really acts up again. Starting us off, I really like the core of Infernape and Rotom here. Infernape forces him pretty much exclusively to Slowking, and getting him Rotom watch you get huge damage. You can then quick Will Wisp as T-Tar comes in, and if it's not Lum, it's in a really bad position. Aceup's not great here, I will admit. yeah, I think outside the Infrared, though, in the room, Zink doesn't really have much going for him. Zink's team is very fraying offensively. The T-Tar is very strong here, especially if he can catch like the Steelix with maybe a Fire Blast or something. Gengar's not great, although I will say, honestly, this is a pretty even matchup in that both sides kind of just can't make much progress offensively. So I don't know. I think it's going to come down to the defensive course, just who positions better, really. Like, near side has a single threat that really just breaks down the opposing team entirely. So I think it's just going to come down to positioning. Let's just hop right into it then. We see Zink on the left and a Cygnus on the right. Gliscor at A-Self lead. I assume, yeah, he's just going to click Rocks. Gliscor's just going to U-turn out into Roserade. Yeah, I was going to say, Roserade is definitely telegraphing Scarf if you bring it in there. I don't know why you ever keep in your A-Self there. It's clearly a Scarf Roserade. Drape is going to Swords Dance and quick Crunch into Bronzong. What's Bronzong going to click back? It's going to take the Citrus, but the defense drop will mean it will go down to another hit, forcing in the Gliscor. Ice Fang calling the Gliscor is Yachi, though, and Gliscor is going to force it out at the risk of a speed tie. Gliscor is just going to Earthquake and do 28 to this Blastoise, still getting some good chip here. In comes Gengar on the Blastoise, but Blastoise is going to Surf, so Gengar does not, Spin Block. It's down 41. It's going to Thunderbolt, but Blastoise is going to knock out Surf. And Blastoise, I'm not sure if Blastoise, I can't tell if Blastoise is in range of rocks or not. I presume not if he's switching out and expecting to maybe try and spin on the Bronzong later. But Blastoise can quick Night Slash and get that crit, bringing Rotom super low. In comes T-Tar. I assume there's also Scarf T-Tar if he's bringing it in this way. Or he's doubling into Roserade expecting a Willow. Yeah, he goes out to scout the Will-O-Wisp. In comes Roserade. We know it's Scarf. It's just going to knock out the Rotom with this Energy Ball. What's going to come in here? Is it probably the Drapion again, I guess? Yeah, Drapion. Roserade is going to switch out. Or it's actually going to stay and just get off its chip with Energy Ball. Wow, I'm surprised there. Drapion is going to Swords Dance again. And Roserade going to get off another Energy Ball. And that Sand Chip is adding up on top of that. Crunch is going to take out the Roserade. Zink is in a bit of a tough spot here, but he does bring in the Bronzong. Should with the +2 Crunch. Yeah, that's only going to do 52. And Bronzong's going to boom, taking out the Drapion. And for him, it's going to come in as will Slowking. Slowking looking very strong in this endgame. U-turn into Blastoise. But Blastoise is going to go out to Sand. Or Surf just knocks it out, so he cannot spin these rocks away. And we do see Cygnus' last Pokemon is Glaceon. Lucky Glaceon, it's Sunny Day Glaceon. What the fuck? I don't know if he's going to paralyze the Glaceon. He's just going to try and Baton Pass. Slack off Slowking. As Glaceon's going to Signal Beam doing a ton of damage here. Wow. I mean, Zink probably has to fish for the Para. I don't see another out for him. He's just going to have to fish for the Para. To stall out Sun turns too. Going to click it, and we're going to keep seeing the Signal Beam, but you can just keep clicking it. And Glaceon is fine when you get paralyzed there. There we go. Slowking's going to be able to get a huge Surf for 62%. Signal Beam to the Slowking, but he can just do the Slack Offs again. I mean, this Glaceon's paralyzed is going to eventually get there. Continuing Signal Beam, no 10% confusion yet, which is good for Zink. And eventually this Jolteon will get paralyzed again one day. Yeah, it's down to just 4 Slack Offs, but Surf will take it out. And Infrared obviously cannot knock out Slowking from full. Yeah, I did not expect Glaceon here. I don't think it made sense. Like, I guess Glaceon if you want the Gliscor, but like, why? Just bring like a good Pokemon like Steelix. I mean, Steelix would not really have done shit into the build that came, so I guess it's whatever. But yeah, Zink playing that in game very well to prevent the Jolteon from getting anything off. That Crunch defense drop earlier from Drapion was unfortunate. It forced the Zink to kind of sack a Pokemon, but Zink just played it really well. I mean, his prep seemed fine, nothing mind blowing, nothing mind blowing on the other side really either. Outside, I guess the Sunny Day Glaceon's kind of wild, but yeah, clean win for Zink. Zink will move on to brackets. For our last match of the day, we do have two pretty decent at this point draft players. AZ was actually a semifinalist in the Smogon DPP Cup, a very solid DPP player. I believe that was their first experience playing the tier, but they did very well and are definitely a strong pick to go very far in this tournament as well. Their side, we have OG Albina, who is, I mean, he's done everything. He's a huge draft YouTuber. He does pretty much every format, and he's one of the biggest influencers in the community. I'm very happy to see him here, taking our stab at DPP. He was actually a staff member, I think, for our first tournament. And I do hope if he does well enough to make a video so we can get some extra publicity. But that bias aside, let's get into the matchup here. So first up, this Sceptile on AZ side is, wow, it's wild here. I mean, Heatran and Roserade can't come in and out, but Roserade, I mean, Roserade's actually pretty good here. Actually, I'm looking at Roserade's crazy here. Roserade's really hard for AZ to break down outside Entei, and Entei has difficulty dealing with Heatran because it doesn't get a ground coverage in this gen. Bulldoze doesn't exist yet. Stomping Tantrum doesn't exist yet. So this Roserade defensively, I can see like a Leech Seed set being very strong here. Obviously, there's the Clef. I can see I'm going like Leech Seed Sleep Powder and doing a lot of work. Is in fact a Clef Mirror. On AZ's side, this Zapdos is pretty frightening. However, Rotom is a decent check to it. Clef's a decent check to it. So there are ways to keep it under control, but Owen will have to play very carefully to keep Zapdos at bay. Yeah, I mean, not so much else to say, except that was good. Entei's good, Zapdos good. On Owen's side, we see a pretty strong Heatran matchup and Roserade. I mean, Heatran's only, actually, no, sorry, I meant Roserade and Rotom, not Heatran. But yeah, we can give the matchup here to AZ. Let's get into the game. Alright, last game of the night. Fortress into Roserade. Is just going to HP Fire. Bring the Fortress down to its Sash. What's Fortress go quick? Just rocks. In comes the Rotom as Fortress is just going to go out to Zapdos. So Zapdos is going to be in here. It's going to quick Light Screen as Rotom push Charge Beam. Wow, interesting turn of events. So Zapdos is going to Heat Wave, getting off 48 on this Rotom, and getting a burn. Wow, that's really big, getting a toe of chip on that thing. It's in range of another Heat Wave now, and Charge Moves, and Heat Wave's just going to knock out, yeah. Rotom's going on, in comes the Clefable on the Thunderbolt, taking 48, it's a lot of damage. But he's going to get up its rocks, and Clef can just softball it off these Thunderbolts. Power doesn't even matter because of Magikarp in this generation. So I was always continuing to Thunderbolt, try and keep it low. That's a big 54. The only thing that this Power does is maybe make it slower than Fortress, but Fortress dies to rocks anyway. This Zapdos, is this freaking Metronome? This must be Metronome. Like, what the fuck? It went from, 48 to 46 to 54 to 64. Yeah, that's a Metronome Zapdos. What the hell? Like, there is no other explanation for Thunderbolt having a 46 roll and a 63 roll. That's a Metronome Zapdos. Oh my god. And for those who don't know, Metronome is really shit in this gen because it's only 1.1 times boost per attack, not 1.2 times. So it accrues a lot slower. Metronome is absolutely dog shit item in DPP, but I mean, it did force out the Clef, so I guess it's something. This huge Sludge Bomb crit here, though, taking out Zapdos is gigantic. Zapdos was obviously one of the biggest threats to OG by his team. In comes the Clef. I assume it's going to try and set up here, or it's just a Seismic Toss into the Heatran. Heatran's going to heal up a bit. It's going to protect to get some extra lefties. Clef is going to Thunder Wave. He's going to go out to Starmie to absorb the Thunder Wave, or just take a Seismic Toss because of Natural Cure. This Light Screen is still up. Starmie's going to spin away the rocks. Clef is going to quick Shallow Ball, though, which will knock out the Starmie. And the Spadef drop, well, it's not going to Starmie next turn. And the Spadef drop will mean that it cannot quick recover. Clef is just going to Seismic Toss, getting off some good chip on the Staraptor. So I'm just going to U-turn out. That's probably Bandit based on that damage. Thunder Wave into Roserade. Both the double, but OG Albias team is uniquely resistant to status with the combination of Clefable plus 2 Natural Cure users. In comes the Staraptor on the Clefable again, and I assume it's just going to close combat this time. In comes Fortress as a sack. Or Staraptor's just going to U-turn again. In comes Blastoise. Staraptor's just going to U-turn on the Blastoise, presumably wanting to spin here. It's going to get off that spin into Roserade. So we're going to see what happens now. In comes the Clefable. Roserade is going to quick Sludge Bomb, and oh my god, what the fuck. This Roserade has crit 2 Sludge Bombs out of 3 it's clicking. This is very unfortunate for AZ. That double DPP crits on 2 of his most important defensive pieces. Energy Ball on the Blastoise. This Roserade might just queen here. Holy shit. In comes a Dragonair from AZ, and Sludge Bomb is going to get first fucking crit. No way. 3 critical hit Sludge Bombs. What the hell? This reminds this reminds me of my friend Gareth, who, for those of you who don't know, GPL is a Pokemon draft league that makes custom Mega Evolutions, and one of the Mega Evolutions my friend Gareth made is a Roserade Merciless, and this one was definitely a Merciless Roserade. 3 Sludge Bomb crits, oh my god. Knocking out Zapdos and Dragonair and Clefable, aka the 3 Pokemon that can take it from the Roserade. This Roserade just decided to go ballistic this game. And wow, I mean, that's just how it goes. Like, there's not much to say about this. It's just like, AZ just got hacks to shit. It's what it is, but we're gonna call it a night there. So I will be back with some more games tomorrow probably. But thank you to whoever tuned in for this really late night stream. I probably shouldn't have done this. Probably should have gone to bed, but it's fine. Except May Queen has yeah, but like Septile will need to find an opportunity to set up. Yep. Have a good night, everyone.